Welcome to AWA, the new series on this channel. We're going to kick it off with our first show of the series, and it is from, of course, our home base, which I'll show you now. As you can see, we are currently going to be from Kidderminster, Worcestershire, in the Wolverley Sports and Social Club for our first show of the series. And it is going to be, hopefully, a good show. I won't show you all about the roster at the moment because that'll give away a lot about the wrestlers, but I will, of course, show you the title holders so far. So, as you can see, the British Champion, which is kind of our secondary title belt, as you can see on the screen. It's been held by Lewis Blaine twice now. He is currently a two-time champion, and the Barnsley Brawler was the person who had the title before it was vacated, which unfortunately was due to injury. He's still on the roster in a role as now a road agent, hopefully for me in this game. He's going to be managing in the company in real life. He's going to be managing some wrestlers going forward when this all blows over, of course. So it's nice to see he's still involved either way. So Lewis Blaine, British champion. Our main champion is the Commonwealth champion, which is Nick Flagg. He won the title in a match against, I can't remember the exact name, but it was another wrestler who wasn't really a well-known one in the company at least, and he beat him to win the vacated title, which Chris Cage lost after he was fired from the company back in October of last year. We've also got Rumble Mania, which, for those who don't know, it is essentially the Royal Rumble, or AWA's version of the Royal Rumble. It takes place in January, just like the Rumble. It is an over-the-top battle royal match, which has been going since 1998, and the previous winners include WWE and Impact star Rockstar Spud, also known as Drake Maverick. Those who have been following NXT recently, he's just about to leave the company, but of course he's a big name, and he won this back in, as you can see, 2007, so 13 years ago now. He won this prestigious Royal Rumble, or Battle Royal as you would say, I guess. Next up is the tag titles. We're currently vacated after Outpatient and the Soul Killer had to give the titles up back in March after one was let go by the company. We've got the women's title again, another one which is vacated, so we'll try and fill these slots in as soon as possible with new champions. Lacey James was the champion last year until May, and then she decided to go into the men's division and compete with the men because there wasn't that many women available at the time for her to compete with, but I'm going to rectify that and bring some more in. Hopefully this will be an interesting save for everyone involved. Next up is the YouTube Championship, which is about the third tier of championships in this company. Dickie Bowen has it, a youngster. He won his first title at just 15 years old in the tag team division. He was the first one after they unified the lightweight title with the Continental Championship to make the YouTube Championship. And then finally we have the P.T. Crockett Tag Team Cup, which takes place once every year, which essentially is it's a tag team tournament with a twist. You don't get to pick your partner before the event. It's randomly picked out of a hat who you're going to team with, and then it's obviously, you could have two heels together, you could have a heel and a face together, you could have two faces together. It's very interesting to see what turns out, and the recent winners of that one was Dickie Bowen and Johnny Rose, a veteran of the wrestling business. In terms of the stables in the company, we have Fox's Freak Show. Foxcatcher is the leader of this group. He is a wrestler who's been around. He is a three-time AWA Wrestler of the Year, and he is a person who wants that Commonwealth title, and he will have a match today, funnily enough, against Nick Flagg for that title. Also in that faction, you have Bam Bam Booyah, someone who's recent to the company. He's a Portuguese wrestler based here in the UK. Masked wrestler, of course. Phantasmo, another masked wrestler. This one was from Brazil, also based in the British Isles. And then you've got Monty Bird, one of the most recent members to join Fox's Freak Show. And he is someone who's 40 years old, but he is someone who might get the crowds on his side in the near future. That's the face team. And then you look over to the heels. Of course, Thomas J. Curtis's Network. The Network was formed in 2018. The members might have changed over the years, but it's still a faction that will win titles if he has anything to say about it. That guy, of course, is Tommy J. Curtis. He is a manager who will do whatever it takes to get his members into championship gold. He is a crafty little so-and-so, we can tell you that. In terms of the members in his group, you've got Hydrosis, another masked wrestler, this one from Mexico, based in the UK. He is a bit of a powerhouse himself, a bit of a brawler himself. And his tag team partner is Soul Killer, someone who wears a mask to the ring, but when the mask comes off in the ring, he is all business. And he is someone who is dangerous to get involved with. So him and his tag team partner Hydrosis make up my new tag team known as the Night Terrors. So hopefully they'll be looking to get tag team gold in the near future. And then the final member of the team so far is Super Ninja. He is a Japanese wrestler based here in the UK, and he was a former lightweight champion. He's the one who lost against Dickie Bowen in that final match to unify the titles. So he'll be interested to see if he'll go back for that belt or he'll be looking to go for another belt in the near future as well. You've got Blue Strike Force, Dan Stryker and the Blue Tiger. You've got the Billington Bulldogs. These are two family members of the late great Dynamite Kid, Mark Billington and Tom Billington, the Billington Bulldogs. They were the inaugural AWA Tag Team Champions back in 2019. So they'll be looking to get the titles back now they're back in the company. You've got the Dogs of War, a new team that I brought in this. It's Chris Smith, a veteran of the business, and John Allens. Now, John Allens used to tag team with a guy called Bully Boy Carter, who I've moved into a different team to mix it up a bit. But he is a dedicated tag team wrestler, and he will be looking again to get that tag team gold in the near future. Next up, we have the Midlands Wrecking Crew. Name inspired, of course, by the Minnesota Wrecking Crew of the early wrestling era, in the modern era at least. Very respectable team they were, of course, but this team hopefully will emulate them in the near future as well. You've got Johnny Rose, a veteran of the business, someone who's been around for a very long time now, someone who can play face or heel, and he just knows how to hit people hard with his massive knee smash finishing move. And you've got Bully Boy Carter, Scottish wrestler, who, again, dedicated tag team wrestler in the previous years. I mentioned them before, and you've got the Night Terrors, Soul Killer and Hydrosis. These two will be dangerous, no doubt. And then the final team, a new team that I put together, Luke T. McFunkhaven. He is someone I know from real life. He's looking to get wrestling this year, so I've added him to the game to spice it up a bit, see how he does in this simulated world. And his tag team partner is the Portuguese wrestler Bam Bam Booyah. Someone who is a member of the Fox's Freak Show, but he is trying to get out about himself and try and win something, and maybe he will with this new team, Triple B and the Funk. So that's the teams, that's the titles, and that's the stables. I'm going to skip now ahead to the booking, so I'm ready to show you the first show, and we'll get into it. AWA. And welcome back to the first episode of AWA, and we are going to get straight into the show then. So we kick off the show. I've put this in the wrong place. Never mind. In an extremely short match, Mike Cash, the Preacher Man, defeats Monty Bird in 4 minutes 32 via submission. Segment rating of 9, unfortunately. Not the best, but not much we could do about it, really, can we? So we'll move on to the next one. As Mike Cash is walking up the ramp at the end of the match, Dickie Bowen's music hits and he's coming down. They give each other a little glance and maybe something will come from it. Who knows? As they continue on their paths, Mike Cash continues back to the back of the backstage and Dickie Bowen gets into the ring for his match, which is coming up next. 20 rating for this segment, not too bad. Then in a match for the YouTube Championship to kick off this week, Dickie Bowen defeats Tony Pacino in a match for 6 minutes 52 by pinfall. That's what his first defense of the title for Bowen. A rating of 17 for him and 18 for Tony Pacino. Again, 17 rating, but it's better than the first one. That's all we can say, really. Next up, we have P.T. Crockett, the man in charge, come out. This should have been at the start, but this is how the show rolls. We're live, pal. Obviously he comes out, welcomes everyone to AWA, and then on the screen you've got the different wrestlers in the company just to hype up everyone looking forward to future shows, who you're going to see. And then we'll get into the main event, which is of course Foxcatcher versus Nick Flag for the Commonwealth Championship. And a decent match, Nick Flag defeats Foxcatcher in 13 minutes and 4 seconds by pinfall, hitting the defeat. And then pinning the Foxcatcher 1, 2, 3. A rating of 24 for the Foxcatcher and Nick Flag just 17 But it's a 22 rating for our main event, which is the strongest one of the show so far. So we end on a high. And that is our first show. Let me know what you think of it. So, Nick Flag has defended his title. You've had Dickie Bowen defend his title. You've had Mike Cash give him a look. Does he want something? We'll find out in later episodes. But for now, this is the end of episode 1, and we'll see you in episode 2.